The headlines. Governor Ajay Kumar Bhala inaugurates 5th state-level Shiroy Lily Festival in Ukhrul. Journalist covering Shiroy Festival returns mid-journey after security restricts MST Bus. MLA Kanguanj calls on IDPs of Sugnu AC to return home to defend motherland. Good afternoon. Welcome to MST English News. I'm Surbala Kangabam. Let's see the news in detail. Governor of Manipur Ajay Kumar Bhala inaugurated the 5th state-level Shiroy Lily Festival at Heritage Ground, Bangayan today. Organized by the Department of Tourism, the festival will be held till 24th of this month. The governor led an expedition to Shiroy Hill to witness the blossom of the Shiroy Lily today morning to mark the beginning of the festival. A journalist team en route to Ukhrul in Manipur State Transport MST Bus, organized by the Directorate of Information and Public Relations to cover the Shiroy Lily Festival, returned midway from Gwaltabi near Yangangpokpi Market after Central Forces ordered the MST Bus to conceal its Manipur State Transport label. The situation has caused concern of security and probable grounding of the MST buses arranged for transporting tourists at the Shiroy Festival in Ukhrul. It is said that the journalist team confronted with the Maha Regiment over the imposed restriction, which was reported kept enforced even after the Manipur State Transport label was concealed using blank papers. The situation compelled the journalist abandon the bus and return to Imphal. Meanwhile, retired professor of Manipur University W. Nabakumar has termed the act of the Maha Regiment as unreasonable and questioned the reason behind the restriction. He further lamented over the act of obstructing journalists on duty and urged proper intervention of the authorities to ensure a successful Shiroy Festival.
Manipur haiba lamdam amakhakta state amakhakta Manipur thaba gari changba yaroi haibasi akoi kari maramgi no haiba madusu amuk atopa misamna nataba prajabu ngak senbigane na leiba central gi force karana sigumba thabak paikhalak paiba se yamna laibak thibani masi matang sana administration na khut thingjanbiraga achumba maigai amada purak haunaba honadragadi pangthoiba festival se fail oihanbada natana Manipur da tangdu leitanaba puraknaba honabadasu achauwa akaiba ama lakane ba wakhalonje ai mayamgi mafamda ikai khumnabaga loinana thamjari.
MLA of Sugnu AC Kanguanj has called on the internally displaced persons of Sugnu to return back to their homes to collectively defend Manipur. He was speaking at the closing ceremony of Iyumna Kaure football tournament held at Sugnu Public Ground on Monday. The MLA intimated the residents of Sugnu, Sero and Wapokpi were displaced for around 2 years owing to the crisis, but some of the households have now returned back to their homes. He said the tournament is organized as an outreach to the displaced persons to return home, celebrate those who have returned and to instill love for the motherland to those who have settled outside Manipur. He said schools and government offices in Sugnu have resumed their activities and added that he is ready to sponsor admission for students at private schools. He also appealed the people to leave behind apprehensions, pointing out that central forces have set up security barrages at the adjoining areas between Kuki settlements.
प्रजा मियामगी अदुगुम्बा थौना इमा इबेल सिंगी थौना यूथ सिंगी थौना अदुगुम्बा कीदबा कथोकपगा लोइनना होनरपदगी ngasiगी aina su mayam ki mateng pangpo ngamjali bane laktriba husik laiba mayam do ana layeng sang hangaga lere serau sugunba private school hangaga moy academy session sidagi lain tamba hokre government ki ba higher secondary upper primary na chimba oza wala basu madu private ai poke dagi puthoga oza thamba isa ima sing takpi na go sem sadra lere aduna nasi apoi serau sugunu sports development committee na sinjeri ba ium la kaure haiba loisan ba numit asi da su media gi puthang da halakti ba mayam da ina phut lonaraga haijeri ium na kaure mayam la piro.
MP of Inner Manipur Parliamentary Constituency Dr. Angum Chabimu said the crisis in Manipur is a result of the division created amongst the people for over 100 years and called on today's generation to consider it as an opportunity to remove the division and build a new Manipur which is based on the idea of Manipur.
Laiba icha ina usingda ina haijaning badi nakoi gi punsini ngasi gi mehoro sige sarugaina khoi ga sagonabani aikoi mathak thongba 1960s 70s da leipak sigi tauge na khalamba kayam sigi makoi gi loisalakpa 1950s gi 60s gi madam mikap tholap gi ihuldu gi do akoi na lahoraga maduna akoi gi mairi ama oiraga naharon singsan anova mairi ama chukhalaga anova manipur gi khongthang changsen na bhona bada punna saruk yamin aduna imalai pak se yumna kaure hairi besimana anova manipur ma semna na bai khoi punna changsen manasi.
The Manipur government's ongoing efforts to improve government schools and nurture promising students appear to be yielding positive results, according to the headmaster in charge of Utlo Model High School, Soyam Surjit Kumar. Speaking to ISTV News during a visit to the school, he noted that further initiatives will be taken in collaboration with school teachers and the School Development Committee to strengthen the momentum. Headmaster Surjit Kumar highlighted that all 29 students who appeared for this year's HSLC examination conducted by BOSEM passed, bringing pride and satisfaction to the teaching staffs. He expressed gratitude to Nambol AC MLA and former Education Minister Thongnawjam Kumar for his support in nurturing talented students.
Literacy rate wangkhanaba khoi pass percentage wangkhanaba kanno hanabiba XEM tamo Basantuk Manasu, Mangjam Malang, see to Navi Peggy school sida 90% plus percentage one pass on about pay Honazagani.
School Development Committee convener TH Bijen Maitai also observed marked improvement in student performance. He credited the progress to the dedication of teachers, effective school management and consistent support from the Nambol AC MLA. This combined efforts, he said, have helped transform Utlo Model High School into an institution capable of producing high-performing students. He further stressed the need for improved infrastructure and additional resources to facilitate the school's upgrade to a higher secondary institution. Appealing to the Education Department and the state government, he urged support to ensure the continued academic growth of the students.
80% plus to na ba agang singje haide magi education percentage adigi magi quality maintain se adu oina ba gidamakta akoi committee site ki yam kana honari makata na honari ni hai ba sida Manipur sarkar na mating pangbina ba committee ki site ki government site apna apun tak
65 Manipur Girls Battalion NCC in collaboration with Department of Transfusion Medicine RIMS organized a blood donation camp for NCC cadets at NCC Group Headquarters DM College campus today. Speaking on the sideline, CO of the battalion Colonel Kumar said the camp is organized under the aegis of Director General of the NCC and informed that around 65 girl cadets and 40 boy cadets donated blood during the camp.
We all are aware with the recent crisis which has seen a lot of engagement in our borders to help those people and to create a national awareness. This blood donation camp is being organized by us.
The Supreme Court will today hear petitions challenging the constitutional validity of the Waqf Amendment Act 2025. The court is expected to consider interim directions on 3 key issues, including the power to denotify properties declared as Waqf by courts, Waqf by user, and Waqf by deed. The second issue raised by the petitioners relates to the composition of state Waqf boards and the Central Waqf Council. They argue that apart from ex-officio members, only Muslims should be allowed to serve on these bodies. The third issue challenges a provision which states that a property will not be treated as Waqf if, after an inquiry, the district collector finds it to be government land. A bench comprising Chief Justice B.R. Gabay and Justice Augustine George Massis had earlier postponed the hearing from May 15 to May 20. During the last hearing, the Chief Justice clarified that the court would not entertain challenges to the original Waqf Act of 1995 in petitions that specifically target the 2025 amendments. The Border Security Force has announced that the retreat ceremony will resume at all 3 joint checkposts along the Punjab frontier starting today. According to the BSF, the ceremony will be open exclusively to media persons today and will be resumed for the general public from tomorrow. The retreat ceremonies at Atari, Hussainiwala and Sadaki had been suspended for the public on the 8th of this month. The decision to suspend the retreat ceremony was taken a day after India conducted Operation Sindoor, targeting terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The Border Security Force, however, has said that the gates between the 2 nations will remain shut on the Indian side. There will be no ceremonial handshake between the Indian Guard commander and his counterpart from the Pakistan Rangers after the lowering of flags at sunset, a departure from the usual tradition. At the same time, farmers with fields across the border fence will be allowed to till their land, but under strict conditions. Sources said BSF officials have held meetings with such farmers in various sectors, and those willing to cultivate their land will be permitted to do so, but under heightened vigilance and for a limited time. US President Donald Trump has announced that Russia and Ukraine will begin direct negotiations for a ceasefire and possible end to the war following a 2-hour phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump said the conversation was positive and both sides are ready to talk. In a social media post, Trump emphasized that Russia and Ukraine will handle the peace talks themselves as they best understand the conflict. He also mentioned that Russia is interested in major trade deals with the US after the war, which he said could create massive jobs and wealth. Ukraine could also benefit from trade during its rebuilding. The Vatican, led by newly elected Pope Leo XIV, has offered to host the talks. This offers follows failed ceasefire talks in Istanbul, which did lead to an agreement to exchange prisoners. Putin confirmed that Moscow is ready to work with Ukraine on a possible peace agreement, stating talks are on the right track. The Russian president emphasized the need to identify the most effective pathways to peace amid the ongoing conflict. In a statement, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine is ready to hold peace talks with Russia in Turkey, Switzerland, or the Vatican. He called for a full and unconditional ceasefire and stressed that Ukraine is prepared to make real decisions. Britain and the European Union reached a wide-ranging agreement which is expected to generate nearly $12.02 billion for the British economy by 2040. The deal was unveiled ahead of the first-ever UK-EU summit held in London, a meeting hailed by both sides as a historic moment. European Commission President Ursula Leyen called the agreement a new chapter in the relationship as the two sides seek to reset ties after years of post-Brexit friction. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that this deal slashes red tape for exporters and will bring down the food prices in British supermarkets, and it directly impacts working people across the country. The British government will invest £360 million to modernize its fleet and upgrade technology. And before we wind up the top stories once again. Governor Ajay Kumar Bhala inaugurates 5th state-level Shiroy Lily Festival in Ukhrul. Journalist covering Shiroy Festival returns mid-journey after security restricts MST Bus. MLA Kanguanj calls on IDPs of Sugnu AC to return home to defend motherland. Well, thank you so much for joining with us.